Good evening all. Welcome to our annual general meeting of Wedmore Parish Council on Wednesday the 19th of May 2021. First is apologies for absence.
Apologies from Sean Thorogood and Joe Keane.
Lovely. Next item on the agenda is election of chair for the year 2021 to 22.
We need a proposal and seconder, Chair.
Okay. Have we got any proposals?
Judy.
I propose Polly.
Oh, thanks, Judy.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations?
Doesn't look like it.
Well, do you want to raise your hands? I mean,
Let's do a vote. All those in favour?
thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, gang. Okay, another year we go. Next on the agenda is election of a vice chair for the year 21-22.
Proposal and seconder again.
I would like to propose David Curley.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Lovely. Any counter proposals?
Or other proposals?
No.
All
Lovely.
happy?
All those in favour of David Curley becoming the vice? At this stage, I would just like to thank Glenys so much for stepping in again. She's done her time as a chairman and a vice chairman, but at the beginning of the year, or whenever it was, God, last year, she stepped in for me because there were a lot of new councillors and I wasn't quite sure who was going to be my vice. So Glenys, thank you for your love and support and words of wisdom. You've been a fabulous vice as ever, and now you can have a breather, but we're still going to get together for coffee. And David, thank you very much. I look forward to working with you very much. Next up on the agenda is to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on April the 21st, 2021.
They have been circulated, Chairman. If everybody's happy, I'll drop them around to you more for signature.
Super duper. Next up is matters arising.
None.
Super, even better. Right, reports from county and district councillors. Over to you, David Huxtable.
Thank you, Chairman. I actually took the liberty of sending a written report into Rodney, which he's received, just listing, what we've been up to this year briefly, frankly, and I don't want to make your meeting any longer than it normally is, and coming up with the highlights of what we're currently dealing with, which is, water running down the main street in Wedmore and the traffic issues in Blackford, and it goes on. And in my annual, I don't imagine Rod needs to read it out, but he will circulate it to you. It's an apology from the county council, really, because we haven't been as proactive as we could be, because we've had one or two, we've had a national pandemic to deal with, but I'm not using that as an excuse. I think we've done actually remarkably well with the resources that we had, and we've turned everything into a virtual council. And now, I don't know about everybody else's life, but my life in the last 2 weeks has gone from 0 to 100 miles an hour because everything seems to be happening at once. I'm back to work, and it would appear, any of you have tried to find contractors or any building materials, there is actually nothing much left anywhere. So my own industry is short of product. We've been locked down for so long, everybody's kind of woken up and wanting. So the county council is not immune to these problems. So our contractors are contracted to do X, and now suddenly they've got X plus Y all to do at once. So it is taking longer than we would all like. I think I'm happy to take questions if you want me to, Chairman.
Have we got any questions for David tonight? Anybody? Oh my goodness, it looks like you've got off the hook tonight, David.
Well, you all keep me on your toes, so on my toes. So best of luck. Congratulations, Polly. I think if you'd paused a minute longer, you might have found somebody else to take over that heavy chalice. But congratulations, everybody. Congratulations, Polly. Congratulations, David. And I genuinely look forward to coming over to Wedmore and meeting everybody. Although I've got next meeting Blackford, so I know where that is. Next meeting Thiel, August, I know where that is. So Thank you ever so much, everybody, for your support this year, and I will see you then. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, David. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Bye bye bye.
What have I got to report? We've had a full council meeting down at... Oh, no, my printer's making loads of noise. Shut up. Just shut up. Oh, God. Excuse me. So we had a full council meeting down at Sedgemoor. We've got a new chairman who's Alan Bradford. And our vice chair, oh, I can't remember who the vice chair is. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, got a new gang down there. Not a lot's happened really, apart from I've done quite a few licensing panels. So we've got lots of things are sort of hotting up again. So I had one this week about somebody wanting a TENS license for a kind of festival on some land in Ashcott. But the land in Ashcott seems to have troubled the neighbours a lot. There's been lots of different festivals there without proper organisation, and the police have got heavily involved. That's why we had the panel. So we refused anything else going on there in the future, because it's not fun for the residents really, having constant noise and parties all through the summer. And I've got another one tomorrow and another one next week, I believe. So yeah, things are getting back into the swing of things down in Sedgemoor, and District Council, and at some point I'm going to have to go back to the office for a meeting with people, which is going to be very weird. But other than that, anyone got any questions for me on the District Council side? No, marvellous. Well, we'll just move on then. Next item on the agenda is delegation arrangements to committees and subcommittees and employees.
Yeah, Chair, this is just to confirm really that the only committee which has the prerogative to make decisions is the planning committee direct. Every other committee has to come through the parish council and make a decision. That's been the rule since year dot.
Okay.
Everybody's happy with that. We'll just carry on as normal.
Lovely. Yes, thank you. And then next up is terms of reference for committees.
We've got no new committees. The terms of reference are staying the same as in previous years.
Okay, super.
This is an AGM this year. Sorry, councillors, it's a business meeting. Pretty boring, but just
that's all right.
Things.
We don't mind. Might be one of the quickest ones we've had in a while, because they do seem to have got quite meaty. Next up on the agenda is to appoint members to serve on the undermentioned committees.
As long as everybody's happy to stay on the same committees, we don't need to discuss it really.
Okay, so everyone's still happy to stay on the committees they're on?
If you want to come off, let me know and I'll...
Yeah, or if you want to change and go on to something else, just let Rod know. That's great, thank you. Next up, to appoint representatives on the undermentioned bodies.
The same again applies. And Sean, who's not here, said you'll go along with what he's done before. So.
Okay, fine, great. Next up is to confirm the annual insurance cover in respect of all insured risk.
Yes, this was on the, we have renewed our insurance certificate. This was on the last set of accounts on the April meeting with Cayman Co, or a specialist parish council insurer. So just to say, yes, we are insured.
Brilliant, always good to be insured. Next up is to review the council's complaints procedure.
I've circulated a document. It might have to be reviewed, but I've circulated. Okay,
lovely, thanks very much. Next one is to agree the chairman and clerk can sign the annual accounts for financial.
This is the part of the annual accounting procedure. We've already signed the annual governance statement. And now I have to submit this new form, which we'll sign hopefully tomorrow and send off to the external auditors. It's part of the external audit.
Brilliant.
I hope everybody's in agreement. We can sign it.
Great. To agree the council's financial regulations and internal financial controls.
Yes, these are on the website, and I've circulated one document. I understand that I think following the inquiry we've had, these documents may be reviewed. Is that fair, David?
That's correct.
But can we agree now then to, accept them as subject to review?
Yep, absolutely. Next up, to receive and approve the inventory and asset register of the council property.
I have circulated a document. I think there's only one query, Emily, which I hopefully I've sorted out. Joe's got a query.
No, Babs.
Oh, sorry.
Just because this is all new to me, but there doesn't seem to be any depreciation, or when do things get revalued? Because the council were valued by local estate agent in 1990s. That's quite a long time ago now. So I was just wondering what the procedure is for getting them revalued and anything about depreciation.
Good question.
I think it's something we need to look at, quite honestly. This is something that I inherited. I've just carried on, but I think it is time. It was sorted.
Okay, so we can put that on the agenda for a future meeting. Good stuff. Good question. Thanks, Babs.
Thanks, Babs.
To note any deeds and trust investments in the custody of the council.
I've circulated a list of all the deeds and whatnot we have in our safe.
Okay. To announce the winner, it gets more exciting now, everyone. To announce the winner, drum roll please,
I'm going to
of the Henry Buck Trophy. And the winner, I can tell you, is Kathy Butterworth.
Way.
Which is lovely. Kathy does some amazing work. Yes, big round of applause for Kathy. She does some amazing work locally, and I've been to many meetings with her, so it's well deserved. It was quite a close thing, but yeah, she's the winner, so that's great. So I will get the trophy to her as soon as I can. Next up is identification of such business which by reason of special circumstances is, in the opinion of the chairman, urgent and required to be transacted.
Well, there we go. There's a grant from Wedmore Parish. Alistair,
Yes, we received this some time ago, and I think it's been brought forward because of the swimming season will soon be upon us, I imagine. It's a request for 2 items to keep the swimming pool going in a proper way. The first is a first aid course for 2 people to be sure that they can deal with any emergencies arising. And the other one is a request for 2 benches for people who are onlooking the activities. Seems quite reasonable to me. I've looked through their accounts. They do quite a lot of good work generally. And swimming, I think, is a really important thing that children should do. So I'm in favour, and Judy, I think, and Sue are as well.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just, having been an ex-chair of the PTA, the PTA, the Wedmore Festival, have raised so much money over the years. It's incredible. And both my kids had lots of fun swimming in the pool. And I know every year it gets harder and harder to get people to volunteer and get people to help. And it gets later and later trying to open the pool. It's a nightmare. So yeah, if we can help, I think that's a
to remind me of the grants for how much they're asking for. Sorry.
Where's my note? They're asking us for £476.
£500.
Yeah, which is half the total, which was 900 and something.
Okay.
Yes, I think 500 is good. Is everybody in favour of that one?
I did propose and seconded this one. Sorry.
Well, I thought let's have I think we had a Judy and a Sue, didn't we?
Yeah.
Judy and Sue, okay.
Seconding, and it looks like I think everyone is in favour of
£500.
Brilliant. Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
That's really nice. Next is to consider a request to site a clothing bank in the car park by
I've had a request from the local air ambulance group. They've got yellow bins around the place. Wedmore hasn't got one. They're recycling bins for clothing. There's a good space in the car park, which I've identified. I think would be ideal, and say the first one in Wedmore, and a great opportunity. So,
yeah, brilliant idea.
there again, we need a proposal section, please.
I'd happily propose it.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you, sir.
All those in favour?
Great, thank you.
Great. Now we all know where we can take our clothes. So
Yeah.
drive miles to take.
Let's all do it at once.
Brilliant. Next up, item C is to receive a statement concerning a complaint. Guess this is over to
Me.
David Curley.
Over to me. Okay, well, on the 14th of February this year, the council received a formal complaint as to the conduct of its clerk, Rod. Due to the seriousness of the allegations, a complaint subcommittee of councillors was established to carry out an internal review. With the complexities introduced as this was an HR issue, the subcommittee recommended to the full council that a suitably qualified HR consultant be engaged to carry out an independent review. This was duly accepted by the full council, and an HR specialist company familiar with local and regional council processes was engaged. Their report has now been received and reviewed by the HR subcommittee, who have recommended adoption of the independent report and its conclusions in full to the full PC, and this has subsequently been accepted. Their findings can be summarised as follows. In connection with the complaint against the clerk, the complaint is not upheld. However, they have highlighted a number of areas of procedure and process and training recommended for further review by the parish council as a whole. We have already commenced this process and are committed to ensuring best practices are captured and implemented, ensuring the parish council to move forward in a good, fair and transparent way in its service to the community. And we now consider this matter closed. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone got any questions, queries, anything they'd like to put out there?
Yes, am I? Oh, I'm not muted. Yes, because just underneath this on our agenda, we have a bill that's been paid to the investigation, to the independent reviewer, the HR reviewer, of over £2,000. Now, these complaints this particular complaint has been against our clerk, who has been who's been a conscientious public servant for many years. This has caused a lot of distress, and I think these three ex-councillors, I agree that there should be an end to it, and I think Mr. Briares, Suzanne Metters and Neil Ellis, this is enough now. And that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Sue. Anybody else? I agree, and I hope we can now all move forward from what has been quite a stressful time for both Rod and myself, and has involved many other people. I thank the committee, the complaints committee, for getting involved and doing a really thorough, great job. I think Rod and I both knew we hadn't done anything wrong to start with, and we want to get on, all of us as a parish council, and get on with some good work, because we're all volunteers and that's what we're here to do. Jonathan, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I'll just say, as somebody who's new, who's come into the parish council in the last 4 or 5 months, I have to say I've been impressed at the way it's responded to this complaint. I think it's been very professional, very efficient, and very thorough in setting up the subcommittee, and then also using an external consultant to provide professional and independent advice. So yeah, I've been impressed, considering it is run by volunteers and is a small organisation. I think it's been very well run, and as Sue and yourself have said, hopefully that satisfies the concerns of the complainants, and, as you say, puts a rest to this this case.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Well done, Jonathan.
Great. So we'll all crack on, hopefully. So next, issues and questions raised by councillors. I'll go around my screen. First up is Pete Tinney. Have you got anything, Pete?
No, nothing immediate or particular, no.
Okay, super. David Cox,
Not for me, thank you.
Emily, Alistair.
I don't know if this is the right place, but a couple of points. I've had a recent report from our area traffic manager on the progress of a number of items. The memorandum of understanding, which I mentioned in previous meetings, I've submitted it now for their legal purpose to think about. Once approved, that gives us proper legal right to put up the speed indicator devices, etc. The second thing they mentioned was that I put forward the idea of the vehicle charging point on the county council parking bays, and I received encouragement to pursue that. So no commitment, but it did sound as if that might have some legs. Finally, in the review of the various locations for SIDS, unfortunately, Rug Hill can't be done. It's because it's not in a 30-mile-an-hour or 40-mile-an-hour limit. It's in the national speed limit, and therefore County Council don't allow the devices to be used on that particular stretch. That's all, thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Alistair. Babs?
I just would like to say that some of our signs have gone up for safe cycling and they have been very well received. I've had lots of positive feedback from people wanting to see more. So hopefully I'll be coming with another proposal to get some more done.
Brilliant.
Thank you for your support.
Great, no, they look good. They're really good. Let's get them up everywhere. Just let's approach lots of landowners and shove them in their hedges. It'd be perfect. Isabel?
No.
Nothing. Sue? Muted. Unmute. Marvellous.
Just to say, from the last meeting, I was asked to find out whether the land at the playing fields, what is known as the parish field, would be suitable for development of a surgery. And I managed to get the deeds from the deed of trust that was signed by the council, by both the parish council and Wedmore Playing Fields Management Committee, because at the time Laura Sampson and Neil Ellis were on that committee. So it was signed by them, and I forwarded a copy to Alistair, because Alistair's now on the, I believe Alistair's on the committee that's looking into somewhere for the surgery. So it doesn't look as though there's any chance of building on there, which is unfortunate, but.
It's such a shame because it's the best possible location ever. Oh well, I'm sure something will turn up.
Alistair's.
Yeah, we are considering a number of sites, and shall I say that it's likely that any site we choose will have strings attached. I think at some stage I'd like to come back to this parish council to discuss those, because we may have to look at the least worst option rather than there's an outstanding one which we can walk into today. That isn't going to happen, I don't think.
Okay. Thank you. Glenys, anything? Judy, anything? Jonathan?
Yeah, I'll just say the gateways have been ordered by Rod for Blackford. They should be with us in about 4 weeks, but the Somerset County Council, who would be installing them, their lead time is about 12 weeks. So I'm going to try and find somebody else who is authorised to work on some of the highways who may be able to install them. So I'll keep working on.
You keep breaking up. You're frozen. Okay, great. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing those. And last but not least, the Vice Chairman, David Curley. Anything?
I just want to say, thank you, and I'm very honoured that you have entrusted me with this position, and I can promise only that I will do my very best.
I sure you will, and I hope you're having a lovely holiday.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on your holiday. True dedication.
Just give me your phone number.
Next up is financial matters.
Yeah, the accounts will be circulated to Emily and Joe, and everything balances to the penny. Thank you.
Super. Next up is correspondence.
All circulated, Chairman.
Okie dokie. Next up, committee reports. Cemetery.
Glenys.
You're muted.
Glenys.
Yeah, okay. We had a cemetery committee meeting in the pouring rain the other day. Thank you very much for the people who turned up. Hope we didn't get too wet. We looked at the demarcation area between the car park and the actual first line of graves at the bottom. And we still feel that we do need to put something down there, relay some shingle stuff. So we're going to get some quotes from contractors to do that. And we looked at the vast area that's down there, half of the cemetery, that's not going to have any graves, we hope, for many, many years. And we wondered about doing something with wildflowers on that part of the cemetery, which would be quite nice. So we thought we'd bring it back to a council, put it on the agenda for another day and see if we can find some funding for some wildflower seeds and some people to maybe do some planting. So that was from our cemetery committee. I think that's all there was to report on that.
Thank you. You stop beeping, stupid machine. Sorry. Facilities and allotments.
Yeah, the allotments are doing very well. There's only one half an allotment left now to rent. All the rest are rented out, and the vast majority are being worked very well, and it looks beautiful up there. I'm looking into trying to get a shed, a communal shed, to put on a small part of this one allotment that's left, so that we can have seed sharing and plant swapping. But you know, the eternal problem of the water rumbles on. But apart from that, everything seems to be looking very nice up there, and everybody seems to be quite happy.
Great. Well, it's just the most wonderful time of year, isn't it? Especially after some rain, it's all gone a bit crazy. Finance and general purposes, we've got
nothing there.
Nothing there. No. Housing.
No.
Highways, car park and brook.
Nothing new.
Ruby. Okay, that's good. Planning.
Next week.
Oh yes, next week. Exciting. Footpaths and green issues. Sean's not here. Reports from representatives on committees. Isle of Wedmore News.
Yeah, we found our treasurer, a gentleman called Mr. Tom Wright, who lives in Wedmore. And at the moment, we are just going through the process of handing over from John Rook, the current treasurer, to Tom Wright, who will be the new treasurer. So that's all going okay at the moment.
Great. Play areas. We've got a meeting coming up, and we're rather hoping it's going to be in the pub. But I think GB all meeting should be. GB Leisure, I believe, are causing us a bit of a headache. So they're the ones who kind of, do maintenance work in our play areas. And I know that our chairman Hannah has had to give them a bit of an ear bashing today because they're not doing what they're meant to do. So we're trying to look into whether we can give more work to people like Johnny Bethel and local chaps. If these guys can't fulfill their duties, then we'll pass it on to the local guys. But all's running quite well in our play areas, which is great. Next up is Salk.
No.
Nothing. Wedmore Playing Fields Management.
Well, just a comment to say that I, in addition to what Sue and Alistair have already intimated today, I also had a conversation with Ian, who's the chair of the Wedfield Playing Fields Management Committee, about the possibility of building up there, but their hands are quite tied by the deed, and so it's not optimistic.
Okay, thank you. Village halls. Pete, everything okay in Blackford?
Yes, there's quite a lot of interest for booking. There are been bookings, and we abide by the. We've got, yes. I think it's, put it this way, the committee's ready for people to obviously to adhere to all the restrictions of COVID, but we're really up and running, although it doesn't probably look like that at the moment, but there's quite a lot in the pipeline.
Good, that's good news. Alistair?
The main news about the Wedmore one is the main hall's been redecorated during this time. A good time to do it because we didn't have to cancel anybody because it needed scaffolding and what have you. And like Pete's just said, I think we're just raring to go when the restrictions are lifted.
Yeah, absolutely. And Judy, finally twinning. Nada?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Okay, lovely.
I'll go to France, can we?
Yeah, at an extra cost. Right, matters of report and items for the next meeting.
I'm going to just say, Chair, that David Ewings, who did the finger post appeal, has produced a lovely book, which is currently with Glennis, I think, of all the finger posts before and after. And it's a labour of love. And if anyone wants to have a look at it, it's not like reading, it's nothing to look at, but it's just pictures. It's a very nice book.
Before and afters, it's amazing actually, because some of them were really shabby. That's a really nice project.
Have a look at it, let me know and I'll drop it around.
He's been approached by lots of other parish councils sort of wanting to know how it happened, because it's such a nice thing to have done. So good old David Ewins.
Yeah, indeed.
That was a good project. Well, that concludes tonight's meeting. I think that's a record-breaking, 35 minutes.
Oh.
Let's see if we can keep them up like this. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for all your support, and let's crack on and do some good work in the next year. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.